Hey guys, Max here with CAtuned Off-Road, and we're going to show you how to install our Grenadier bumper. So you're going to get, obviously, a bumper. Going to be a couple of sections you're going to put together. You're going to use some original bolts. Some of the stuff we're going to actually supply you. We'll show you what kind of hardware you're going to need and what kind of tools you're going to need. Some of the stuff could be installed. If you're mechanically inclined, I'm thinking like 4 hours or so. Obviously, if somebody have done one, it's going to be a little bit faster. You can use a VR Evo Winch 12 or a Xenon. So it works for both winches. Let's get started. So to get the main section, this is pretty much like a winch cradle that holds the winch. It's got our beefy shackles on both sides, fairing. As you guys know, we're kind of known for that, the front hitch receiver here. You have slots for the parking brakes right here and here. What else? So you go to the side. These are the sides, and you have these vents right here. These vents will cover up and look really nice. That way it does. And also you have the parking sensors here. And then on the outside, we'll show you. So this is our fender liner. So basically, since we've cut down the bumper so you can fit larger tires, you also cannot use no longer of your original existing fender liner. So these are made of aluminum, really cool. You still have the air going through here to cool off your I guess the side coolers. And then here's the hardware. You'll get some of these hardware here. 4 of these /20s. These are your parking sensors. We'll show you how to install those as well. A little bit of bolts. We have this one's already installed here. And then we'll install the other side. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so we have a stock bumper right here. We're going to take off pieces so we can install our bumper. First, you'll notice these kind of split plastic between the two bumpers. We're going to take these off here using a T30 torque socket here. So let's do that. Now that we have the top 30, the T30s off, there's one a really kind of pain in the butt to get to, and I'll show you. It's this one right here. To get to that, I'm using this interesting gear wrench situation. As you can see, it's really low profile, and that's why we're able to get in and unscrew. Now that we have a couple of the T30s from the top, we're going to unscrew the stock fender liner on the side using the T30 as well. Now we're moving on to taking these off right here. Basically, what you need to do is bend both tabs out. Once you do that, you have to lift this thing up. Okay, guys, our next step is going to be, once we got the shell off, we're going to try to take the centerpiece off. And to do that, you have to take the factory side coolers off. And we're going to use a T50 to do that. You got 3 on each side, 3 here, and 3 on the other side. So next, we're going to unscrew this nut right here that's on the bottom. It holds the arm to support this radiator. It's a 13 mil. Okay, also we have this bracket that supports the inner fender liner. For our aftermarket one, we're going to take this thing off using a T45. It's way in the inside. There's 2 of them on each side. This is pretty much our last step for the OEM bumper removal. We're going to remove basically 2, 4, 6, 8 bolts using the 18 millimeter socket. All right, to remove this piece, they're kind of intertwined. So you have to push the outsides off a little bit, and then this comes off. There you go. And that's it, guys. We're done. All right, guys, since you've seen how I take the bumper off, we're pretty much going to reinstall everything using our bumper. And then some of the components could be heavy. So you and your buddy can handle this. You take the bumper. There you go. The important thing I want to say, guys, is make sure that these are on the outside, just like the OEM. All these nuts back to. One thing I want to show you guys is the parking sensor. This is the harness, and that will be basically fished all the way across. You'll have them here. One thing I want to show you guys, if you look over here, this is the upper side here. We made these slots here for the zip tie. So this is on top, but I'm going to show you an easier way. This is going to go on the bottom, obviously, that you can use this to zip tie from the bottom side. That way, this is not dangling on the bottom. You guys see what I'm saying? Use these 2, zip tie it from the bottom side. That way, this is not dangling. Okay, next step is we have the OEM side bumper covers is the light here. This light is holding on double-sided tape, so you do have to remove that. Be carefully not to break them. After you remove them, you reinstall on our bumper, just like this. Bam. Looks nice and good. Look at that. Then our next step is actually going to be installing this to the bumper. Also, I'm pointing out, you got this notch here, this hole. This is for the parking sensor harness. You're going to feed it through the middle of the bumper, and then throughout here, and then you're going to plug it in. Basically, this is what's going to happen like this. Bam. Before we install the side panels, we go ahead and cut this off about 1/4 of an inch. you cut it with the saw blade or something, cut it off. That way you have a nice flush with this bumper. Just remember that, guys. A lot of guys, what you can start off is just ripping this rubber molding off first. If you're still having issues with it, you might have to cut a little bit. When you guys install these outer ends, make sure it's flush, nice and good all around. Our next step is going to be installing the parking sensors. Now, I want to point out that you have to unclip it. That way you can fish it through the hole. You're only going to unclip 3 of them because the 4th one stays here. So let's just do that real quick. You press on this thing down here, and then you pull. It's that simple. Press right here. And that's it. So you're going to fish it through the hole. You're going to plug the sensor in, just like that. Then we got our parking sensor bracket. You push it in just like that. Clips in, and then with some, just like that. And you repeat the process on all 3 or 4. Next step is our winch. So winch is almost the last step, but not really. Make sure you have everything on. The winch goes in. It's gonna get a little tight down there, guys. So I wanna show you where the winch lines go. The winch cable for the positive and negative side. Right there, guys, right there. You see that? There it is, right there. All right, guys, the winch cable, we got to fish through that hole. Now, the biggest thing is going to fish through the fender. Now, if you have a 500 amp fuse for the winch, you have to take your fender liner off and you'll see there's a relay there. But we take this thing off so many times for R&D. We're going to go through this stud right here. I'll show you guys. Look at this way. So there's a positive stud right here, and here's a negative. So we're going to go to here and then go to negative here, just because we're going to be taking the winch off again. But you guys can go to here, or you can go to the 500 amp that's underneath the hood. Oh, I'm sorry, underneath the fender. Okay, guys, our next step is these fender liners. I'm looking at this one. This is the passenger side. So you see a couple of holes here and here. These all go to factory. This goes to our bumper. This goes to factory's location. So this piece right here is going to go in between the factory fender liner, underneath the factory fender liner, and where that body is. Once you get that in, you're going to clip the bottom, put the nut in, and then the sides. All right, guys, this is it. It includes our install. Later on, we will have the bull bar. Stay tuned for that. And as you've seen, It's complete. It's durable. It's beefy. It's got the Mad Max shackles. We got the VR. You can do the VR. This is the Xeon version. And yeah, it looks beautiful. And stay tuned also, guys. Check out our website for other products that we have for this vehicle. Thank you.